appointed to perform an independent review of your protest. You may complete a survey regarding your experience today or not. The survey is voluntary. You will have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to you with our determination. We'll listen to y'all's protest. We'll hear the appraiser. Then after that, we'll make a decision after we discuss it. And I'm sorry?
The law was changed here last year, and now the property owner has the right to either go first or last. And I talked to the comptroller's office, and they confirmed that and said that y'all should know that.
Okay, that's fine. Whatever you want to do.
We've always allowed that.
Anyway, the appraisal district will let y'all know what the decision is in a couple of weeks, okay? Without further ado, if y'all are ready, you can go ahead and present your case. Or do y'all want to go first or second?
I'm going second.
Okay. Come on, Ronnie.
All right. See that.
Need some help.
No, I got it.
Thank you.
Can we help you?
Yes, I'm here just to observe the meeting.
Sure, come in.
All right, basically looking at the first page is a picture of the subject property. Basically the first two pages actually. Granary Street on the first page, the second page, the yarn garden on the properties we'll be discussing today. Flipping over to page 3, and if you turn this sideways right here, looking at the bigger numbers on the bottom right hand side, that's what we're going to kind of follow along with on this. So what you see on page 3 is going to be the appraisal card on the subject properties. We have this valued at $480,041. Page 5 basically is the building permit that was pulled back in 2005 on the Granary Street. This is going to be for the Granary building only. It was permit was pulled. It says on here, I guess Robert pulled it. So his cost he had put down on here was $170,000 at that time. I could not locate the yarn garden, but looking on the city's website, that one was built for $45,000. Page 6 is going to be a Marshall & Swift cost approach on the building. I used retail store, brick building, rank 1, which is our lowest rank, to use using the cost approach with the Marshall & Swift. And that totaled up to $480,031 doing it from the cost approach. And if you flip over to page 8, I actually broke them down and detailed them separately. And if you're looking at the Granary Street on page 8, this is going to be land included with that building. The cost on it was come out to $409,560. And then page 9 is going to be just the yarn garden building itself only, valued at $70,471 when you do a Marshall & Swift estimate on it with a rank 1. Flipping over to page 10, that's basically what I'm showing y'all here today. Is this is what we had on our base rate per foot on retail space with a rank 3. It was pricing out at $54.09. That's before adding in the central heat and air, which would kick it up another 5%. So we raised building cost schedules, and if you turn over to page 11, our building cost schedule was raised to $55.71. for 2018. So any building that had a rank 3 brick space on it would have been priced out at the same rate per foot. And of course, adding in the central heat and air, which would plus at 5%. Flipping over to page 12, basically just showing y'all, if you look at on the right hand side on your annual cost changes, you're going to see categories Eastern, Central, Western. We are in a central zone. This is straight out of Marshall and Swift. This building would be a category C. And if you look over, look at the Schedule C form, as General 1 2017, a year ago, building costs have went up almost 4% just in 2017 alone. Turning to page 13, basically had pulled the subject properties up top. I went ahead and just looking at from land to land on the property. We have Mr. Worthen's property at $1.83 a foot. Comps that I have on here is I had a 0.91 acre tract that sold off New Boston Road. It sold in 2015. It brought $2.33 a foot. Another one in Nash off Highway 82, 6.514 acre tract. Property brought $400,000. It breaks down to $1.41 a foot. Another one in Nash that had just sold here last year, almost 7.5 acres, brought $375,000, which comes to $1.15 a foot. And then I went ahead and pulled the only other one I had off of a land sale. And this one is in Hooks, off East Avenue A, a 0.34 acre tract. It brought $30,000, and that came out to $2 a foot. All right, then page 14 is basically, went out and looked at rental rates on a retail space in Texarkana. And then when you kind of gauge it out, you're going to find that really nothing's leasing for less than $1 a foot on these newer properties. You have some that's got a lot of age to them. They are going to lease for less. So basically, when I've done my income approach, if you flip on over to page 24, when you plug in a $1 a foot rent rate, that's per month, which comes out to $12 a foot from an annual basis. Plug that information in, and then you take out your expenses, which give you an NOI of $47,362. Cap it out at 10%. That projects the value of the property at $473,616. That's page 24, if you are still trying to get there. So from an income approach, the final amount was $473,616. Page 25, just was going to kind of show the last two ratio studies that the state comptrollers pulled and done their checks and balances on us. Looking at this basically on the, it's going to start off from on the page 25 is our residential property category stratum of sales and actual cost estimates that they've done on properties to check our work. Flipping over to page 27, it's going to be basically the same thing on there. But if you look at page 26, our overall ratio from a commercial property standpoint is going to be at 95% in the 2016 ratio study overall when you pull stratums 1 through 5. And then on page 28, the overall ratio study on the commercial properties come out to 92% the year they done the checks, or 2014 I mean, when they done the checks on the properties at that time. So we're always looking to try to to try to fall back in market value once we start running behind on those ratios. And then 2012 is going to be on page 29 and 30. 30 is going to be the we're at 96.9653, so at 96% when they've done their checks and balances on us in the 2012 ratio study. So looking over everything that I have, that's where we're coming in at the amount at 480,041.
What does that building rate out as square foot? What we got it on the
Amount per foot would be 480. Let's see, I'll get that total for you real quick. So it's, if you add both buildings together, it's 6,072 square feet altogether.
That figure's wrong, by the way.
that, the building, I'm sorry, the big building, the granary, what's that been showing a square foot?
Just on the building alone?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's right, I mean, with the guide, $58.50 a foot,
$52 a foot.
$52 a foot. That's on the big building.
Yes, sir.
Have you measured that building?
I have not. I did not measure the building. Would have been a previous appraiser.
On this page 1 here, we're showing square footage at 4984. So that number, you have to check the square footage on that.
I have not.
The second building is 1,088 square feet.
Yes, sir.
That's incorrect.
What does that, what does that come out of square foot?
$45.83 a foot.
2580.
$45.83.
Ronnie, on this page 24, you came up with a value of 7316. What's the difference in that 7 or so or 6? Whatever?
The 473.16,
Yeah,
616.
to this 480 here.
It's just from running an income approach to check it, to see kind of where it falls.
Okay, it fell here at 47316 on page 24. And I was wondering about the difference.
I didn't actually work it from our income approach. I'm looking at it from a cost approach.
Okay.
Now, the building, the big building, it was built in '06.
2005, I think, or 2000, hang on.
Showing
when's-
6, it's showing 6 on the sheet.
Permit was pulled in 2005. I don't really, was construction
We
started?
finished it in 2006.
Okay.
Okay, and then the other building was built in 13.
That's correct.
That building is 12 years old,
Yes.
and so you've got a physical value of 89%,
Yes, sir.
1% a year, I suppose.
You could look at it from a 1% of your standpoint, from depreciation.
The other one's at 1%. And the parking lot's just standardization.
Yeah, we run 285 a foot with the 65% lifetime depreciation amount. I know parking space is going to run higher per foot if you put one in today, but from a depreciation standpoint, we should be okay.
We use that across the board.
Yes, sir.
On everybody.
Yep, on concrete parking, yes, sir.
When was the yarn garden built? 13.
Okay, any other questions for Lonnie?
That, just one question about the dirt. What's the dirt? What have you got, what have we got that on there?
This one's at $1.84.
184 foot?
Mhm.
And we've got comps on New Boston Road that show that, right?
Yes,
That actually sold.
actually be $1.83 and some change. But yeah, I pulled the most recent ones I had, so.
Are those comps are they in the general location of?
They're not gonna be right there at it, it's gonna be
There wasn't
actually,
anything inside the loop. was
no,
there? There hadn't anything sold
You-
inside the loop.
no. You have to go downtown.
That's
And it's
not-
been
that's
years
not
ago.
true. It's not true.
On far as land sales.
Well, there have been 3 properties within 1 block of our store that has sold last year. And the average sale was less than 50% of the appraisal district's valuation.
Which ones have sold, sir? Well, I
He's
mean,
gonna get to it.
yeah, you-
I'll
you
get
can-
to it,
you can
but,
present
yeah.
it.
Yeah, we'll
I'm-
get to
I'm
it.
really.
Are you talking about land and building, or?
Land and building.
Okay.
Okay, anything else for Lonnie? Okay, Mr. Worthen, you may go right ahead, sir.
All right. I've got a copy here for everybody of what,
One more. Yeah, we got these on this side. Thank you, ma'am.
are y'all appraisers? Okay.
Is this something that with this?
I've got supporting evidence for everything that I'm gonna say. Here's, this isn't complete of everything, but it's for those 2 people over there. All right. Here's some pictures.
Does this need to be?
That's with what you guys got. You can
pass these
look
out.
at those and pass those around. They're the same. I don't have copies of pictures. Good morning, I'm Robert Worthen. My property is the granary and the yarn garden.
Let's see if we got all the information. Is this,
That's part of it.
we don't have but 1 copy here.
It's-
Did y'all get a copy? This copy?
You don't need to give them another copy, Robert, this one.
This is, you got plenty. This should,
I got it.
you got this?
Yeah, I got it.
You got that?
I did.
All right.
I got it. All right. I think we're great.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Worthen.
Good morning, I'm Robert Worthen. My property is the granary and the yarn garden. We are east of the loop on New Boston Road and west of Robinson Road, a corridor that is and has been in steady decline for well over the past decade. Your tax appraisers have been in complete denial of the real land and buildings values in the corridor, with one notable exception, which we will revisit at the end of my presentation. The appraisal board has land throughout the corridor valued between approximately $70,000 to over $100,000 an acre. You can look, right here, $105,000 an acre for this property here is what the land, they got it separated out. This property here, $90,000, this one's $80,000, this one's $78,000.
What are we looking, where are we looking there, Mr. Worthen?
This is
That's
my
New Boston
store right
Road?
here. This is my store.
Okay,
Every property from here all the way down to Robinson Road that I have found is valued at between $70,000 and over $100,000 an acre, okay? Except for one. And we're gonna get to that in just a few minutes.
okay.
All right. The appraisal board, okay, property sales over the past decade have trended way below the tax appraisals. Like-kind building comps have been nearly zero, a clear indication of a poor market with some properties being on the market for many years. over the years, your appraisers have told me that because the sales were 2 or 3 blocks away from me, they don't count for the value of our property. What kind of statement's that? The ones that he gave you today are at least a couple of miles away from our property. They're not even close. Well now, we have not only 1 or even 2, but 3 sales in 2017 for which the Bowie County Appraisal District had the value appraised at an average of more than double of what the market brought. All 3 of these sales were within a block of our store. They had this property here valued at $100,463, sold for $41,500. This property here, we actually bought this. It's right next to our stores. It was valued at $131,503, and I paid too much because I paid $100,000. The one right next to it had valued over $181,000, sold for $63,690.
These sold.
All last year.
Gotcha, go ahead.
All right. All 3 of these sales were in the block of our store. Why are my improvement valuations more than anyone else per square foot in the corridor? They and our land appraisals are even more than what we paid new. Also, our building improvement classification is incorrect. Current Bowie County MR03BA retail brick 1 story, 55.71 per square foot. We feel it should be MR02MA retail masonry 1 story, 45.62, and I've got some more information on that later, which I want to show. Also, all stated building wall and ceilings heights are incorrect. They're showing we have 12-foot load-bearing walls on both buildings. It's 10 foot for the granary and it's 9 foot for the yarn garden. Nobody even took time to go in and measure. And by the way, they have the yarn garden. It's supposed to be 32 by 32. With the sheathing and everything, it's like 32.4 by 32.4. It's not 32 by 34. I don't know where they get the measurement. We have a total of approximately.
What?
I'm sorry?
That, you're saying it's 32 by 32?
The yarn garden.
Outside.
32 with the sheathing and stuff is 32.4 by
Are
32.4.
you measuring outside of brick to outside of brick?
No, it's not brick.
Well, or exterior?
Exterior, exterior, outside to exterior. The frame walls were 32 by 32, outside to outside. Then you put on your sheathing and then your other stuff, and you've got an extra 2 inches on each side, basically. All right? We have a total of approximately 6,000 square foot of buildings combined with a total assessed value of $33,941, which is $56 per square foot. By the way, that's more than Walmart. And Walmart's got 40-foot ceilings, 12-inch concrete block walls instead of 8 like ours, and we've only got 10-foot high ceilings. And they lowered the value for Walmart about 3 years ago from $12.5 million down to $11 million valuation. Just thought I'd throw that in. I've done a lot of research on this stuff. Directly across the street, now some of this is 2017 valuations because they just came out on the internet with the 2018 valuations. Directly across the street, Richardson Fence Company has 2 buildings, approximately half as much square foot. Let's see, Richardson right there. It's approximately half as much square foot as we do. With one being brick with an add-on valued at only $38,372 for the buildings, or about $15 a square foot. Recently, the local car wash, and by the way, their measurements on Richardson Fence is wrong too. They didn't get the add-on. They haven't got it yet. It's been on there for about 5 or 6 years at least. So that's wrong. Recently, the local car wash and about half a dozen other properties in the corridor have been lowered in appraised value by over 10%. So apparently, they do know there's a problem. In fact, the Dollar General store, which went out of business because it had been robbed twice last year, they lowered the building value on it just this year, just within the past week or so, by 26.3%. And that's one of the reasons we're having a problem with our appraisal values there.
That building has a lot of leaks too. It needs a new roof.
So why didn't you lower it last year and the year before?
Because it was just brought to my attention. We don't go in on a daily basis looking, and it just went vacant here.
Okay. I doubt that we could even sell our property for even $250,000 in the current market. But we definitely could not sell it for $480,000 and $480,041, the value you have set. We feel that our land and buildings should appraise for a total of $308,000, which is fair compared to the average around us and the true market value. As to the notable exception I mentioned earlier, I discovered a property right here, that is appraised way below all other parcels in our corridor. It's number 1906-0032-700. You do have a handout on it. That belongs to our, it's owned by TTC Realty Limited Liability Company, which our current sitting Bowie County Judge, James Carlo, is the president and CEO of. It's valued by your appraisal district at only $29,750 an acre. That is unfair, inequitable valuations. That's against the law. And this is criminal. A breach of the fiduciary from your appraisal district. The entire corridor needs to be reevaluated and adjusted downward immediately for all owners impacted by these inequities. I appreciate your time and having a chance to present my findings, and I'm open to any questions I have, and I have all supporting evidence to back up my statements. Thank you.
I have a question about the properties that you bought.
Yes.
The properties that you bought, were they residential properties?
No, it was a commercial.
All of them commercial?
It's a small office building. It's a little over 3,000 square feet, and it's brick, and it's right here.
But they were officially on record as commercial properties.
Yes.
Have you disclosed the sale price to
They
anybody?
have a copy of the deed and
Okay.
the contract and everything.
The reason I asked.
And not only that, but it was $100,000. They couldn't help just needle me just a little bit, and they raised it for this year to $100,911.
Well, the reason I ask is because it's hard for appraisers to find out what commercial property
No,
sells for.
I've been upfront.
Well, I
They have-
appreciate that. I appreciate that.
They have all the information, yet I'm the only property that I have found that's actually being appraised for more than it cost us brand new. When we bought the property and tore down the old house, we paid just over $61,000 an acre. We paid $108,000. They have it valued at $140,800. And it hasn't gone up, it's gone down. Every property down there that I have found, and maybe there's an exception I didn't find, but I've been studying it real hard this time, has gone down in value in the past 10 years.
You say you got the sale documents on all the properties that, the actual closing statements on all the properties that you...
I have a statement from a real estate agent that is familiar with all the properties that's sold there.
Do you have the closing?
I don't have the closing documents, obviously, for this one here, or this one here, which we weren't involved in the sale with. But I do have for this one, which is the one we bought. But I do have those comps, which are true comps because they're within a block of our store. And they show that this whole court, and the ones that I brought to the attention of the board 2 years ago when I fought this, were a couple blocks away. They were right in this area next to this Panda Chinese place. There was a couple of buildings right here. And at the time they said, oh, no, that's too far away from your store, they don't count.
Okay.
And they were 30–40% less than what they had it valued at.
Okay, like I said, I've just got that one question. Do you have the what are those, Doc 1 forms? HUD 1 forms? You have the closing HUD 1 forms on all the sales that you say occurred.
Well, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay, the closing statement that you did.
The one he bought. I do on the one I bought.
Okay, but do you have it on the others?
No, I have the thing from the commercial real estate agent of what they sold for.
How does he know?
They have access.
He'll have it.
Huh?
They have it.
Even if he didn't sell them?
Yeah.
Even if he's not
No,
involved in them?
Yeah, it's
if the real
published.
estate agent sold
It's
it,
published,
he
isn't it, Rick?
keeps it close.
Ronnie
They-
even
I
agrees it's
understand.
published.
I understand if he sold them, but if another agency, real, sold those parcels,
Right,
would he have access to those farms?
yes.
If it was on MLS and listed with a real estate agent, they would
Well,
be
if it's
accessible.
commercial, it wouldn't necessarily.
Right. They're not gonna
Commercially,
be,
wouldn't
they're
it?
not gonna be actually filed at the county clerk's
Right.
office in a deed. It's not, because we're not a full disclosure state, so.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I need to
But
know.
I mean, even the one that he sold would be a valuable comp.
I understand, I just was wondering about the others that sold it.
Ronnie, what about the, I believe the 3 properties that Mr. Worthen was talking about that sold last year?
The 41.5, I'm familiar with that one that you had. That one's kind of right across the street, correct? On the Richardson fence one?
No.
Or is that the portable building place?
It's a portable building.
Okay, I know that was an estate sale on that one. It was a very low sale. I mean, you're right about that. But looking at that building compared to your building, I mean, it's not even comparable.
Wait. My building and that building are built exactly the same way. It's 8-inch concrete, and the only difference is it's smaller, okay? And you know what they valued it this year? 11,000 and some change.
How old
Okay.
is that building?
They don't have any record on how old it is, but it's
It's
built
an old
exactly the same.
I understand.
And it's, no, listen to this, it's classified at MR02MA, and they've classified ours at MR03BA.
Is
I don't know where they got that, but it's not even close.
Isn't a
It's over $10, I think it's over $10 a square foot difference in the valuation.
is a 3B, isn't that HCB with face brick?
It is gonna have face brick. You can look at the pictures here on the.
Only on the
reference
front,
page.
only on the front. It's
Okay.
just, it's,
That-
this building right here, I'm telling you, I'm an old builder. I was in construction for over 20 years. It's built exactly the same way as this building. The only difference is like the color of the brick and the actual physical material is obviously different, but it's built with inside frame walls. It's got concrete blocks all the way around. It's got a brick veneer on the front, and it's got framed up, wood framed interior walls and wood framed roof with shingles on it, just like mine, just smaller. And they have it at this year at 20% valuation. In other words, it's depreciated 80%. If you figure it out per square foot, that one is $40 and some change. And they got ours valued way over $50 square foot. Exactly the same type of building.
What's the determinant for making it a face brick over HCB versus just HCB?
It's not gonna be as far as masonry and the brick.
I mean, what percentage? In other words, his is 3/4%.
It's gonna price out the exact same.
HCB,
It might be on this page.
HCB and HCB with face brick rate out the same, and that classifies it as two.
On the 2 classification, it's basically gonna drop. I don't know if it's on there. I had to go get the,
You need a schedule.
yeah, put up, or Randy, just put up, you're wanting to look at it from an MRO2BA, correct?
I want to know the definition of a 3BA versus a 2MA.
The 2s are gonna be basically,
They're masonry, I mean, they're HCB total.
yeah, most of the time when I have 2s on stuff, it's gonna be almost like a house converted to, like office space or something like that, but, they're gonna be very old buildings, highly depreciated on a physical percentage.
I think the city requires face brick, don't they, on all commercial buildings built now in the last few years?
Yes.
They require face brick.
Yes.
Okay, you can't have a HCB building It's gotta have face brick on the front.
Right.
Okay. 10 versus 12 foot, skim wall.
It's probably gonna reduce it another 3%.
Ron, do you agree with these examples he's given here? I mean, are those according to the record?
I'm not gonna compare his property to the 41.5 sale, no, I'm not. I can tell you that building, that property also only has about 125 foot depth. It's very wide, but from a depth standpoint, I mean, it's gonna be hard to do something with it, the way it lays.
Which one are you talking about?
The 41.5, that's gonna be the portable building place. I can't,
41.5 one, yeah, the pink stick on
Yes.
there.
I'm not really familiar with some of those. I don't know if I've even got the sales on them, so I'd have to go back and
What
look.
is there,
But from an age standpoint, I can tell you, I guarantee you on most of those, they're gonna be a whole lot older buildings, not comparable in my opinion.
They would be on the same depreciation scale as this one is?
Yes. They're gonna,
Could you go over, please, sir, one more time, because you were moving on through the sales from last year in that quarter of property? I'm a little slow, so just bear with
Okay.
me.
So this is the property that the building, which is 1,440 square feet, is built exactly like ours. Or we built
That's
it
the old
exactly like
building.
them, except for ours is bigger.
Okay, but we don't know what the age of it is,
So-
right? It's so old that we don't have.
All right, but the point is, the classification that they put on our, if it's O2 classification, if you read the classification,
Yeah.
it's wrong, or mine is wrong. And I'm contending that the O3 for mine is wrong because it's the same as this. And it's a cheaper way of building. That's why we built it the way we did. We didn't put a metal roof on it because it's gonna cost 50% more to do that. We built it as cheap as we could. It cost me $170,000 to build that building. And then it cost me about $7,000 for getting the old house and cleaning up the lot and getting the dirt work all done, and about $23,000 for the original parking lot itself, okay? Now, where were we? The classification?
The buildings that sold this
Okay.
past year. I know about that one.
Okay.
You can move on from that.
All right,
and I,
so we bought the office building next to us. They had it valued $131,503. We paid exactly $100,000 for it. So instead of valuing it $100,000 like it legally is supposed to be done, they valued it $100,911.
Where is that building? And put your finger on the building on the map.
The building is right here.
Okay.
There is a structure on the building, on the land.
It's a 3,016 square foot office
office
building.
space, yes.
Brick, all the way around it.
What was there?
is that the
What
insurance?
tenants were in there, Robert, when you bought it?
Allstate was in there,
Oh, okay, I know which one you're
That's what
talking
and
it
they
about.
had a Mexican dress shop
I know where you're talking about, okay.
on the other side.
So what tenants were in there when you purchased?
And well, nobody. That's why he was ready to sell it. He did, they both left. He tried to raise the rent. You know what his rent was? It's about 40 cents a foot is what he was getting. This whole corridor is nothing like what, I like Ronnie, Ronnie's a nice guy, but it's nothing like what he presented as $1 a foot for renting. You can't get that down there, there's no way. You can't get anything like what they're charging, or what they're appraising the values of this property in this corridor for, except for one, right here.
Are those the only two that sold?
This one right here is a house, it's a big house, right next to it. It's junky, anyway. They had it valued $181,547. It sold for $63,690.
When was that sale?
The deed deal was 06/2017. They had the land valued at $97,997. It's 1.2 acres, I believe, or 1.12 acres. And the improvements at $83,550. So even even if you don't count anything for the house, the whole thing sold for about 75% of what the land value was valued
Brian,
at.
were you aware of that sale?
Is that the house right next door to the car wash?
And that's the one next to the house that's next to the car wash.
Okay.
It's right next to my building. In fact, the guy, Ernest,
How old is it,
what,
the building?
the house?
Mhm.
I have no idea.
It was
But
old.
the whole
It was
point
old,
is
though, wasn't it, Robert?
that on average, things down there that sold in this corridor sold for less than half, on average, than what the appraisal district has appraised it. And they're refusing to take that in consideration. They're going all over this, everywhere else to look for comps to try to show that our property's worth this much. But it's just not. And the market shows it. And that's, let me just go ahead and,
What, excuse me, one second. Excuse me.
go ahead. I'll be passing
Yes,
this out.
give,
You want it?
okay. What are the addresses on those that sold last year? On that? Give me the address.
3411 New Boston Road.
3411, okay.
3415 and 17 is two offices in the same building that we brought.
15 and 7, that's the overall estate.
That's right.
And in 3417?
30, yeah, that's the same building.
Oh, that's one building, okay. Wasn't there 3 that sold?
And then 3512.
Okay, 35, 12.
And just a side note, just a little side note, this guy right here, I actually talked to him this morning. They have his, it's just a nice lot. And it's 1.13 acres. The appraisal district has it valued at $81,643. That's $72,250 an acre. The guy was trying to sell it to me for $65,000. He told me this morning he had an offer of $55,000 for it.
Show me that lot on the map. I mean,
It's 3303,
Yeah,
and it's
fronts
right in here, right in here.
Fronts, has frontage on the.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
All these have frontage.
Yeah,
In
okay,
fact,
all right.
the one that has the most frontage of any of them is this one right here, of any of the ones that sold.
How old is that building, Robert?
Which one?
The one that you were just describing?
Right here?
No, the green, the 81,643.
This one right here?
The 1.13 that you were just pointing at.
37.
Oh, this right here, there's no building on it.
Okay, it's just land.
There's just, it's a nice, if I were to need a lot to build my store on, that's where I would try to get, right there. Okay? Actually, I'd probably try to get closer to the loop if it wasn't so expensive.
So $1.67 a
But
foot,
anyway.
that's what he's asking.
So, well, he said, he told me he had an offer of 55. He's trying to get me to buy it for
Has he took it?
I'm gonna go buy it. This one right here, the guy, y'all had it appraised last year at $90,864. I noticed y'all did lower it a little bit. That's $65,000 an acre. He's got an offer for $40,000 is what he told me. His name's Christian. He wanted me to buy it for $50. And I told him I wasn't interested. Now, I was gonna do it. The appraisal district has the burden of proof. Oh, let me do this. Quote, the appraisal district has the burden of proof in value and unequal appraisal disputes. An appraiser's job is to appraise property at its market value equitably and uniformly, unquote. Section 1.04 of the Texas Tax Code requires the appraisal district to appraise all properties at market value equitably and uniformly. The property tax law is relatively simple, yet the appraisal district is artificially making it hard on and intimidating the average citizen in this process, which is wrong. Except for being larger, my main building is built exactly like the building at 3512 New Boston Road that just sold in December of 2017 with 0.7 acres for $41,500, which has been appraised at over $100,000. The county appraisers have ignored these local sales, which are by law supposed to establish the property values in the area, and instead created their own inequitable justifications for keeping values high. And in doing so, are in jeopardy for criminal prosecution. You want more proof? Look next door to our office building. We paid $100,000, which the appraisal district had appraised at $131,503. There, the appraisal district has had this property appraised at over $181,000, and after it sold for $63,690 in 2017, they appraised it even higher at $183,273. That is criminal.
Mr. Worthen,
Yes.
you have made a very, very good presentation for your case this morning. Very good. I can tell you've done a lot of research. But now, if you'd have left that last paragraph off, I think your presentation would have been a lot better, in my personal opinion. If you'd have left that off, you'd have looked a lot better. Now, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'll leave it off if you want
Well,
to.
I'm just telling you.
But here's the thing.
That's not our.
My brother, when we first built the granary, when we bought this property and built the granary, I didn't have the money at the time available to buy it, so my brother bought it with his own personal money. We just, because of all this mess that we've been having with the appraisal district, we just bought it from my brother for $308,000, which is what we believe that it's worth, and we have obviously done a lot of research into it. It's a family deal, but I guarantee you it's not any kind of favoritism, as we've seen with what the appraisal district has done here. And I want to add one more thing. I sat down and talked with Mike Brower, who's the chief appraiser here, just about a month ago. First time I'd ever, I think, sit down and talk to him. I've talked to Ronnie. Ronnie's real nice, treated me with respect. I have no bones against Ronnie. But the chief appraiser said, Robert, there's an old saying that the squeaky wheel gets the grease. He said, well, here it's totally opposite. If you keep pestering us, we'll raise your property taxes even more. And I promise you, and I affirm that that statement is true. Okay? I don't like
You have
being,
accused our chief appraiser of criminal negligence.
when you've got a property appraised at $29,750 an acre, and on each side it's approximately $50,000, and across the street it's even more an acre, that's not criminal. According to the tax code, it is.
We're not here.
That's unequal. That's,
Consider, Mr. Chairman stated it right. I think it'd been better if that had been left off, but that's not our function. We're just like you now in this deal. We weigh what you present to what they present and try to come up.
We're just taxpayers.
We're just taxpayers.
We don't work for this county.
We don't work for you.
We pay taxes just like you do.
Bringing these things to us is, well, the chairman.
Okay.
well, the appraisal district here is in jeopardy of having a class action lawsuit brought against them, and the class action lawsuit will probably win with this kind of inequities.
Let me ask y'all a question on that. Ronnie, have y'all sat down and talked about any kind of adjustment other than what we got here before?
Me and Mr. Worthen?
Yes.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
Y'all obviously couldn't come to an agreement on that. Right?
Not with that big gap, no. Not for 300,000 from the four. I think we have, what we have on at that time, around 470 at that time.
A couple years ago?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, did you say 470?
Yeah, at the time, it's been a
Is
couple
that
years
what
ago.
you come from 470 to 408 or whatever it is?
For what I would allow on this at this time, just because it has not been worked for the reappraisal going into this year. If you depreciate it down some more, just off those percentages, you're going to be probably closer to the 470,000. But since we only do reappraisal every 3 years, and you did not get your depreciation going into 2018, then and we do a cost schedule increase, which increases all the commercial property or residential property, whatever the cost schedule we raised at the time, which we did, then you would have got the full increase. on that difference. So without depreciation, because like I said, not going into reappraisal year.
You said you were in the construction business, and you mentioned that you built stuff. Did you do a lot of work on this yourself?
I did the block work itself and the brick. Yes, I did that. But even so,
What was hired out? I guess
practically everything else.
You hired out the electrical, the plumbing?
Yes. I'm not a plumber, I'm not an electrician.
Parking lot?
You don't want my electrician.
I'm just asking.
Parking lot, yeah.
Okay.
I could have done the concrete for the building itself, or set it up and get it, but I was kinda in a hurry, so I just had somebody come in with a big crew and do it.
So correct me if I'm wrong, you said that you're saying that you built the building, but it was actually your brother's, and you bought it from your brother recently at 308?
My brother and I are partners in the granary store. We have R&P Worthen, which stands for Robert and Perry Worthen Limited Liability Company. So he owns half and I own half, okay? Whenever we first bought this lot and built the building, I did not have the capital, disposable capital at the time to pay my half of this. So he bought it as a personal investment. And then recently, the company bought it from him, in fact, just in the past couple of weeks.
At 308?
Yes. And that's what he said he had in it. He had $308,000 in it.
But that's with you doing the.
I did.
All the block work.
I did the block and the brickwork.
Okay.
Yes, I did, which I would value at probably around $20,000, somewhere in that neighborhood.
I could agree with what you're saying there, but as far as a lot of people maybe around this table, I built my house in the same manner that you did, for a whole lot less than it's appraised. So I can't get an appraisal of my house for what I built it for. And I think that's what you're maybe facing here. You've got a lot less money in it than it's appraised, which is understandable.
But with depreciation and everything, even though you add the 20,000, if you take it back away from depreciation, you're still at about $108,000 or $308,000.
So you're asking for 308 versus 470?
480 is what they have.
480 is what we have on
Okay.
And by law, the appraisal district has the burden of proof in value and unequal appraisal disputes. An appraiser job is to appraise property at its market value equitably and uniformly. And I got to section 1.04 of the Texas Tax Code requires the appraisal district to appraise all properties at market value equitably and uniformly. And the last 3 sales have been on average less than 50% of what in other words, their appraisal has been more than double in that area, within a block. And all the sales in this whole area, which is about a half mile long, from here to here, that I've seen, maybe I haven't seen 1 or 2, but they've all been less than what they've had appraised for us. And a lot of them's been 30–40% less.
Ronnie, he states in here that the county has ignored local sales, which are by law supposed to establish the property values in the area.
From a standpoint, office space, retail, any way you look at these sales, I guarantee if you go look and see when they were built, they're going to be a whole lot older buildings. So I'm not going to compare newer buildings to buildings that are 40 to 50 years old.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
Okay. Have you considered, it doesn't say we have to establish the values.
We consider everything, we have to.
But those were considered?
Yeah, we look at everything when it sells. I mean, I'm going to research and try to figure out, anytime I get sales information and we're way high on it, I'm going to start looking at values in the area. But if it's an estate sale or it's one that you typically are going to see sell for less than market value, then no, I'm not going to, I'm going to throw it out.
Nobody knows. So
got my thoughts.
It's not considered a good comp if it's a.
Yeah, I
If
understand.
it's a distressed sale for one
Distress
reason
sale,
or
or
another.
estate sale, those are not
But that-
considered a good comp.
Now, that property he said was a state sale was actually on the market off and on for the past 10 years. Because one of the real estate agents that I got information from said that he had it on contract for 2 years, about 3 or 4 years ago.
Who's the real estate agent that you're referring to, Robert?
Studi, Gary Studi,
Okay,
you know him?
I do not.
He's a commercial real estate agent.
Who?
Gary Studi, he does a lot of work in Dallas,
Oh, okay, that's why we.
but he's also down here in
Nothing
Lubbock.
about the Texarkana area.
Okay, anything else, Mr. Worthen?
Just one more thing
Okay.
was the, the classification on this sheet here. As I said, that
Page is that?
This is number.
um,
Let me see what you
page
got.
23 and 24.
Okay.
Yeah, this is on rent, is that correct?
No, this is actually the building, no, he's referring to it'd be page 10 and page 11 in y'all's book.
Okay, page 11 is the book.
Yeah, in my book. That's what he's referring to on the,
According to classification.
classification schedule, yes.
Okay, that's the retail brick 1 story and the. We got our 1 story.
Okay, and anybody's welcome to come look at it, but this is, wrong page, just a second. Is this the right page?
Usually what the difference is. There's a sign, it's 3BA, they're both MRO 3BA.
Yes, between the years, that's correct.
17 and 18. Okay, gotcha.
That's the overall increase you said they did in 18.
Yeah, I'm showing the.
Okay, so here's, I don't have any copies of this, but on this sheet from Bowie County Appraisal, on this property right here with this building, it's classified as MR02EA, which is what we should be classified, our Grainer Street building, because it's exactly built the same way, except for mine's bigger. And they've got it classified as MROZ3BA. So the difference is about $10 a square foot, depending on which page you look at.
Yes. What you saying, that other building is class what?
It's, let me show you.
MRO2EA.
MRO, see, here's that bill.
EA,
okay.
And see, look, 20%,
And his center block.
$11,600.
That's
Brings
kind
back.
of so old.
So,
Right.
but if you multiply this times 5, you get 100%. That makes it $40.30 a square foot. See what I'm saying?
54.
All right. And they got us here at 5409, depending on which page you look at, 5571 here. But it should be up here at MRO2MA or whatever. MRO2 is what I'm looking at. Man, I'd like to make things simple instead of make it complex.
Is masonry just brick? It's not brick veneer, right?
This is concrete. I'm sorry.
The
Ronnie, you have a
classification.
call on line 1. Ronnie, you have a call on line 1.
Masonry, A is 1 story, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. 2, there's a 2 and a 3. Gotcha. Okay, we've got a 3B is how he's classified. And that is for HCD, 8-inch HCD with face brick. Is that correct? What is MRO 2MA, is that just masonry only? HCB 8-inch?
The MA is, it could be the, like stucco exterior or anything, from that sense. It's not gonna really, deviate too much between the, if you do an MRO3 BA versus against an MRO3 MA. But if you look down kind of further in the MRO3 EA, the center block, schedule, you are gonna see a difference. I think that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, I'm just interested, if the 2MA, if that is an inclusive class for stucco or HCB 8-inch, that's what I'm trying to figure out, is that what that classification's for?
I've studied this, so I may be able to answer your question better than Ronnie can, not to disparage Ronnie. But, okay, so I went and looked at the 1, 2, 01, 02, 03, 04, and it seemed like the biggest difference between the 02 and the 03 is the fact that the inside walls are out of wood studs, and the roof is out of wood framing with shingle roofs, okay? The 03 apparently is inside walls are metal studs and metal roof, okay? And ours is not that, it's the wood, just like the building that was built 50 years ago or whatever, that just recently sold, they got valued now at 11,000 something.
So you've got wood studs
Yes.
and I guess 3/4 sheetrock on the inside wall?
And it's partly based, the classification is partly based on the fire rating of the walls themselves.
Okay, you're 3/4
So
or?
part of the load-bearing wall is wood framing that goes in the middle. If you go to my store, you can see the wall that goes across the whole middle, which helps hold up the roof. And because of that framing, it's classified as 02 instead of, it should be classified as 02 instead of an 03.
Is it half or 3/4 inch, sheetrock?
It's half.
And wood framing, trusses?
It's all wood. There's no metal framing inside the
I got
building.
you.
Now, I don't know if there's an exception for if there is no, say the building is real small, there may be an exception to that, I don't know. And the trusses go from end to end, and they're not gonna have a middle wall supporting the framing. I don't know about that.
From a Marshall Swift standpoint, if it's smaller, it is gonna cost more per foot. And then same thing with, you get bigger, it's gonna go less per foot, so.
But even if it costs more per square foot, see right here, you got it 20%. If you go to 100%, it's $40.30. At 20% is $8.06 a square foot.
On a very old building.
Oh, I don't have a problem with but if you multiply it out to 100%, you still at only $40.
Okay. Mr. Worthen, I appreciate you coming in, and I appreciate your work that you put in for your presentation, very good. Ronnie, thank you.
Thank you.
We will discuss your protest, Mr. Worthen, and you'll be getting a letter from the Appraisal District in a couple of weeks, so letting you know what our decision is.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for coming in.
Thank you. I don't need a copy of that. Can I want one copy just for the records? Robert?